First of all, introducing our challenger.
Out of the blue corner.
He's going to step in and he does. It's all over.
Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Eternal Insiders. My name is Luke, and as always, I am your host, and I'm joined in today's episode by the man stepping up from abroad to challenge Quillan Salkilld at Eternal 80 for his lightweight championship. Everybody, please join me in welcoming the USA's very own Brett Pastore. Brett, it's the first time we've had an international fighter on this iteration of the show, man. So thank you very much for your time, and how is everything for you over your way ahead of this unique title fight opportunity, man?
Everything's great. Looking forward to this.
Good to hear, man. You're in Thailand at the moment, I believe, because you're training with Tiger Muay Thai. So that's where you are right now.
Yes, sir. I'm in Phuket, Thailand. I'm staying in the Tiger Muay Thai camp.
Now, you split a little bit of your time between there and America. I noticed that you were training with Animals MMA over in the States. So how does that dynamic work for you? Sort of back and forth a little bit, or are you kind of based a little bit more in Thailand now? What's that situation for you like at the moment?
Yes, so while I was starting my professional career as a fighter, I was also a school teacher. That's what I went to college for. It's what I got my master's and bachelor's degree in. I was teaching school 10, 12 hours a day, training on top of that, getting barely any sleep, and life was rough. But back in America, I was a 2-0 professional. I had a really long amateur career. I was an amateur forever. I had a ton of amateur fights. Finally turned pro, had 2 wins, and then decided, you know what? If I'm going to take the next step, get to the next level, and fight at the higher level, I'm going to need to do this full time. So I quit my job. I moved across the world, bought a one-way ticket to Phuket, Thailand, did the Tiger Muay Thai tryouts, and I've been here for, I think, 6 months now here in Thailand. Just been training every day, all day. Here I am.
Yeah, and I mean, what an experience that must be like, man. I mean, Tiger Muay Thai, renowned as one of the best Muay Thai gyms in the world, mixing up with some of the best over there. One of our local Eternal boys over here, Lockie Stitt, I believe, went over there and competed over there too on that particular one. I'm not too sure if you're familiar with Lockie or not. I know there's a lot of people there. But yeah, Lockie was over there himself. And I did see that you're mixing up with the likes of Rafael Fiziev and all that sort of thing too. I mean, learning from some of those guys, I mean, tell us a little bit about what you sort of gained from, what you are gaining from that experience, being able to mix it up with some of those guys on that level.
Yeah, I've gained everything. I've doubled all my skills. Like everything I do today has been all the technique, all the strength and conditioning, all my, training modalities have been, really progressed over the past 6 months, more significantly than ever. Every day wrestling with Dagestanis, having Lumpini Stadium champs exchange kicks with me in the Muay Thai area. Just a lot of good talent in a huge area. So yeah.
And it's all led up to this year, man. I mean, you've had a lot of experience just as a combat sports athlete, and we'll get into that in a little bit in the conversation. But I mean, tell us a bit about this first. How did you find out that a title fight opportunity was going to be an option for you over here all the way in Australia? Where were you when you first found out? Who told you? Paint us a bit of a picture on finding out that this was going to be an option for you.
Yeah, so shortly after my last fight with One Championship, my visa was expiring for Thailand. I'm getting ready to go home. I got a flight planned out. And, I was getting ready to go home back to America, then maybe come back to Thailand next year. And then I get asked, hey, you want to fight for a title in Australia? My coach at Tiger asked me, absolutely. Send me the name. I'm ready. Let's go. And, extended my visa, stayed here for an extra few weeks, and continued this training camp. And, yeah, now I'm fighting for the Eternal MMA Championship. Can't wait.
So absolutely no hesitation on your part with finding that out was going to be a possibility. I mean, you are now four fights into your pro career as a mixed martial artist. Unfortunately for yourself, the last fight didn't go your way with One Championship. But I mean, that was only last month. And I mean, you're coming straight into a title fight here. So, really quick turnaround for yourself. No hesitation there from you to jump back in there over in another completely different part of the country, another part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, when I was an amateur fighter, I was fighting every single weekend. So like it's a Saturday. What you do is fight. As a pro, I've been pretty active. I've had a Muay Thai fight. I've had, been competing constantly, so no need to change it. Yeah, I like to stay active, and why not? That's my job.
Is this where the American Nomad nickname comes from, potentially? Because you're always so active. You're just here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much I've competed in several different continents. I've just traveled everywhere, and I've just been here in Thailand for 6 months. We're going to see where I end up next. I have a few different plans, but yeah, I'm basically a nomad. I'm going from place to place, trying to fight on every country in the world, and it's been a hell of an adventure.
That's fantastic, man. I mean, what an adventure. I mean, the American Nomad and just experiencing all the cultures and all that sort of thing, very cool to see. So competing all over the world, I mean, nothing better than that. And we're very happy to have you coming over here and competing in Australia. Were you familiar with Eternal MMA as an organization prior to hearing that this was going to be an opportunity to fight for them?
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. I know it's on UFC Fight Pass. Probably it's the biggest promotion in Australia. So yeah, definitely looking forward. I think potentially, I forget if I was asked to fight for Eternal earlier, like right around the tryouts when I first came to Thailand. There was like a potential, hey, we might have you fight in Australia. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do that. And now it's come up again. This time, title fight.
Why not? Will this be your first time in Australia?
Yes, first time ever.
First time ever, so you'll be getting to go over to the sunny shores of Perth, man. I mean, so it's pretty cool that it's over that part of the country. A little bit of a different time zone to myself over here on the East Coast, but I think you'll enjoy Perth, man. We're very much looking forward to having you over. So very, very cool to have an international fighter come over and challenge Quillan Salkilld for his lightweight strap. Just want to know a little bit more about yourself, mate, before we start talking about the fight coming up. Tell us a little bit about just sort of, where you sort of come from. I believe New Jersey, you're originally out of. We know where you are now, but I was in New Jersey, born and raised. What part of the country from the US were you from, and what was sort of early life like for you?
So I was born in a town called Sleepy Hollow, New York, which is just north of New York City. That's where I grew up, just north of New York City. And I grew up wrestling. I think my first wrestling practice was when I was about 5 years old. So I've been wrestling my whole life. In New York, there's a big amateur boxing scene, and in college we had a college boxing league while I had college wrestling, so I was competing in those sports growing up, wrestling and boxing my whole life. And then I knew eventually I was going to go to MMA, having done so much boxing and wrestling. I grew up doing those two sports, and here I am today.
And you recently celebrated, I saw, celebrated is the right word, but you clocked up 80 fights all told. I think you've gone a little bit past that since then, but you competed in so many different things. Obviously, you just mentioned wrestling. Are we counting everything as far as those fights go? Are you counting wrestling, counting Muay Thai, boxing, all that sort of thing? What makes up those 80 fights?
No, definitely wouldn't count wrestling as a
okay.
fight. Wrestling, I think I've had probably about 1,000 matches, including grappling, jiu-jitsu. Probably about 1,000 grappling matches, but just like fights, like a fight, a full contact fight. I'd say boxing, Muay Thai, combat sambo, and MMA. That I think I'm at 82 right now. I think this is my 83rd going in. Not all professional. Most were amateur boxing, amateur kickboxing. I've had a long career, and now I'm just starting my pro career. Honestly, I'm only 3-1 as a pro. I'm at the very beginning of my pro career, so.
And do you think MMA is your home from now? As you just mentioned, just at the beginning of your MMA pro career, competed in so many different combat sports over your career as an amateur and as a professional. But is this where you're here to stay in mixed martial arts?
100%. Mixed martial arts has been the end goal with me. All these other sports, competing in professional Muay Thai, boxing, all this was to build towards my MMA career. That was the plan.
I don't know if you've sort of done as much research or if you've done any research on your opponent, Quillan Salkilld, of course, not only Australian, but he's a Perth boy himself. You coming over to scrap for that lightweight title and hopefully for you to spoil the hometown party. So give us a little bit of insight as to what you bring to the table as a mixed martial artist. Why are you the guy to come over here and spoil the hometown party for Quillan Salkilld and take his lightweight championship at Eternal 80, man?
Yeah, he looks really good. He looks really well-rounded. I don't know who his opponents have been. I've watched some of his fights. I don't know if he's, if he's been around the experience that I've been around. Like every day I'm wrestling with Dagestanis. I'm, facing the top guys in the world every single day. I can say that for sure. I don't know what his experience level is, but I'm 100% ready for everything he's going to bring to the table. I'm expecting a really tough fight. Definitely looks like it's going to be a good one. Expecting a good scrap in all areas, on the ground, standing up. Yeah, man, this one's exciting. Really looking forward to this one.
It's definitely exciting, man, and we're very pleased that you're coming over and giving us a title fight for Eternal 80. Do you have a particular sort of strength or anything that you might be able to share with us without giving obviously any way in terms of a game plan or anything like that? But for those that aren't familiar with you, is there a particular place that you sort of like to take the fight? Do you like to sort of take it how it comes? Where do you say the strengths are for you? Where is the danger for Quillan in your game?
I think everyone who knows me knows I'm a generalist. I've had fights where I kept the entire fight standing. I've had fights where I kept the entire fight on the ground. I'm 100% confident in either type of fight. Sometimes I'll spend 100% of the fight in the clinch or 100% of the fight at distance. I have a style where I can really blend. I can be, I don't like being defined as a grappler or a striker. I think in the modern game of MMA, everyone is a grappler and everyone is a striker. Everyone is mixed. That's the point. We're mixing martial arts. So if you're not confident in all areas, then, this probably isn't sport for you. I feel 100% confident in every single area.
We're looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table, man. Like we said, everyone's very much looking forward to this one. Coming over to fight in Perth, Western Australia. I've said this a million times on this podcast. There's not quite anywhere like Perth as far as the fandom goes. As far as fighting the HBF Stadium goes, of course, Eternal MMA based in sort of more the Gold Coast and sort of fights more up the East Coast. When it goes back to Perth, man, it's a whole another animal. Had the privilege of being there one time to go over and see the fights there. So you're in for a treat, albeit I'm sure you're probably prepared that it's going to be the hometown crowd is going to be sort of against you. But I mean, it's a hell of an atmosphere, man. So looking forward to you enjoying that as much as we're sort of looking forward to having you over. Are you the kind of guy that likes to sort of give predictions on your fight, man? Do you have sort of anything in mind how you'd sort of like to get this done, or we're just going to take it as it comes when the fight gets here on October 28th?
I'm not going to make any public predictions. I predict that I'm going to win. I predict that it's going to be a tough fight. And what I'm really looking forward to is after the fight, I've always wanted to try kangaroo meat. Now, I've heard Australia has kangaroo meat. Is there a place in Perth where I can get some kangaroo meat? That is what I'm...
You are going to have to find out from the locals where you can get some kangaroo meat, man. I mean, I don't know if it's really sort of a common thing. Kangaroo meat, more commonly, I would find in my dog food. Like you go down to get some dog food and you sort of put it in there. I know you can definitely eat it. I know I've had it before, but it's not something that we get stuck into. But if you can find yourself somewhere where you can get some kangaroo meat, man, might be off the beaten path a little bit, but definitely make some inquiries. Or we'll find out for you. We can go get some. So let's tee that up.
Thank you.
Of course, maybe some crocodile too, man. Because I heard, I know I've had crocodile a long time ago, and that was a little different too. So if you can get some crocodile, get yourself some of that. Man.
If there's crocodile in Perth, Australia, I'm 100%.
Let's get it. You'll have to check out the scene when you're down here, man. Do you know, just before we let you go, do you know how long you sort of plan on coming over? Or are you just sort of in and out, or do you get to spend a couple of days here, or what's sort of the plan?
I think I get to stay there for like 1 or 2 days after the fight, and then I don't have a flight booked yet. I have a flight booked over there. I still gotta figure out how I'm getting back to America, but yeah, hopefully I can explore a little bit after the fight. Yeah.
Definitely, man. So no, it's going to be a hell of a thing coming over to the HBF Stadium for yourself. And again, thank you very much for coming over and being one half of that championship fight. It's going to be an absolute banger, no doubt about it. So like we said just before, I'm sure you know the hometown crowd's going to be against with Quillan Salkilld being the Perth boy he is, but I can definitely assure you that everyone's very grateful for you to come over here and put on a title fight from us. So, after the fight, I'm sure you're going to a warm reception from the Perth boys. So make sure if you're spending a couple of days here, man, soak up the culture, get yourself some of that kangaroo meat, get a couple of Australian beers in you, enjoy the time here as the American Nomad would, and all the best for Eternal 80, man, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear that crowd go, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Let's
go, brother. Booing me. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, brother. Thank you very much again for your time.
Thank you.